Like I've met so many people who are leaving school or people who are already working in some organizations, and what they basically tell me, or when I listen into some of the goals that people have, one of them is I really want to like start out and branch out on my own or form something for myself. Like I need to maybe start a startup or start a small business or start a big business. Like basically many people just don't want to work for someone. That's how I'd frame it. Like many people want to work for themselves or build companies. I think I've heard that from a couple of people. And there's this idea that if you're doing that, you've attained some level of freedom which other people have not attained, and you're doing one of the most important things, you're doing one of the most meaningful things. I'm not so sure that's true, thinking about it, but I think the desire that many people have to join entrepreneurship and try and form something for themselves, especially in a country like ours where there are no jobs even for those who, for some of the people who are in entrepreneurship who are forced into it. Like you tried looking for a job and you didn't find one, and so you were forced to try and start up something for yourself to like make something. And if you look at entrepreneurship historically, I think it is the whole essence of capitalism is the idea that entrepreneurship can solve most of the problems that people have in their lives. If you think about entrepreneurship in a big context, it's basically problem solving. Like you're trying to identify opportunities where people have problems, repetitive problems, or like for us, we understood that people wanted to trade, but people didn't have a way to learn how to trade or a guide or a path. Like people needed a map. And so you had to like come up with a map that would guide people. So that is the problem that you're basically solving. Or people needed to know that this opportunity even exists. So that's the gap that you're solving. But there are many things which also the people who are not in entrepreneurship or who have not done it and are yearning to do it need to know before they jump into business. And I think now that's where I'd love us to start. Like, what are some of the things that you guys think are valuable? Because like for the freedom, I do think it's true. Like you can, I remember there was a time I was called at 1 and someone in the office, then I was like, let me just leave because I've been called. And she was like, wow, that's freedom. Like I can't do that. I can't
she wondered how you left the office.
I can't just leave anytime. As much as
how now?
Exactly. As much as it's an emergency, I can't just leave and go. You get. But you can leave and go. I can design my own schedule. Like I can decide to work from 5 to 1.
Work from home.
Yeah, work from home. Leave at 1. Go.
Change offices.
Exactly. So there's that aspect of some freedom that comes with that. Like you're not told come into the office this time or leave this time. But with freedom comes a burden.
Of course.
So like you were saying, there's no glamour in starting a company. There's no cool. There's no aspect of cool. Like I'm running a company, so I'm cool. You get.
And flossing.
Like many people assume that's how it is, but if you think about it and if you've done it, you'll understand that running a company or starting a business is a responsibility.
Very big one.
A very big one. And you must be ready to bear with the burden of, if things go badly, it's you. If things go well, it's basically you and your team. By you, I mean like it's your team, like the team of people you're working with. Like you guys will have to bear with the burden of what is happening. And with responsibility comes very many other things which many people don't like, or many people try and avoid. Because the minute you're starting a company, you have to figure out, okay, I've created a product, I need to know how to market this product. Once you market it and you've noticed people want it, you need to think about how you'll scale. You need to think about how you'll hire people. So these are big problems. They're not very, very easy things, especially if you've never done them. And those are some of the things that many people, when they go into business, don't think hard about. I think that's why I'd start my theme on the entrepreneurship case. And I'd also combine that, by the way, with our journey. Because if I was thinking, I was actually, someone asked me like, how did you guys start FAB or something? And the only idea I had was, we just had an idea and decided to do it. Like, we never knew where this thing would go. It's not like, many people assume it was a well-calculated move. Like, this is how you'll move from point A to point B to point C to point D. But often, if you ask many people, that's not the case. Often we just start at point A. We don't know where B is, we don't know where C is, we don't know where D is. But you're just starting at A.
and going ahead.
If we solve A, we'll go to B. If we solve B, we'll go to C. That's the spirit of an entrepreneur. If you try to figure out everything before you start, you're not a true
You won't
entrepreneur.
start.
Yeah, you're not an entrepreneur basically because you won't start.
Because I'll echo what you're saying before I go to my point. It's the same way, like we keep saying, I don't know where we saw it or where we read it. It's the same way if you're driving at night going to coast and the lights are on, you can only see what's ahead.
Yep.
And you know, in the head, you know, long term, there's somewhere you're going to arrive, there'll be a beach, it's paradise. But at the very end, kuna bump, kuna police, cops will find on the way, problems, hurdles.
Exactly.
But you go solving, as Ken is saying, A, B, C. At the end, you'll reach it to Z. And just to get to my point, I think entrepreneurship mainly, it's mostly in a lot of people. I'm not saying everyone. I have no research or data to say absolute everyone, but I think many people have that nature of entrepreneurship. And one, and you normally feel it when we're young. You can feel it like you want to do something. There's this business, there's this idea came, and I think a very perfect example that you can get, perfect example that can show that you have entrepreneurial mindset or why many of us are entrepreneurial is when we read books. If you read books, we tend to, or not even read books, if we read or if we look up to, the people we look up to, entrepreneurs. We look at people who have changed the status, who challenged the status quo, who did something different, they solve a problem. The Bill Gates, the Microsoft, the Steve Jobs, the Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. So we tend to look up to these people who inspire us. You won't look up to someone who just did something. You won't look up to a colleague who are at the same level, the same way you look up to someone who's changed the world. Okay, you might look up to them for a few reasons here and there, but mainly the entrepreneurship side, that side, Palina Kuma, I want to start something new. And right now, before you guys came, I was on a call with our very good friend Whitney. So she's telling me how now she's also living. She's working somewhere, so she's living. And whenever I talk to her, at the very core, I can see her desire and her happiness of talking about her business. Like her stuff, how she's doing, and she's doing good, but she's not yet gone fully into it because of 1 and 2 here, her parents, now job. You know, these people looking, these are distractions that distract you from your entrepreneurial side. Your entrepreneurial side is burning to come out. It wants to come out and nurture and wants to grow, but you keep on throwing it away or hiding it and making it smaller because of you're looking for secure employment, you're looking for a safe path, you're looking for stability, good husband, family. Hizo vitu zote zina kudistract. So at the very nature of entrepreneurship is what? Taking a risk. Yep. And at the very end utakuja gundua that risk was even a safer path than not taking the risk. You get? So at the end we tend to conclude that the biggest risk is not taking any risk. So I keep telling her and she keeps calling me and we talk a lot, and she's normally excited looking up to us because she keeps saying, you guys, I see you guys. She because we started basically at the same time, and she started a business as we're starting ours, and she's in the entrepreneurship and us starting the business side, and we keep saying it a lot, as we're doing very two difficult things, doing a business which is financial hub, and at the same time the other business is their own trading. As you guys have said, as Taras said, it's more teaching you entrepreneurship side. Those two things are very, very difficult, but doing them concurrently, I don't think there's any day to finish the day and you feel like, I've wasted this day working for FHub, I've wasted this day trading. At the very core, entrepreneurship has its own fulfilling, self-realizing journey at the end, and I think that's what many people, what I want to tell people, like, if you take that risk and go do that entrepreneurship, as you said, solve that problem, which at the end, money is not the goal, but it's a byproduct of solving that problem. So, and following your passions and doing all that. So at the very end, if you take that risk and go into entrepreneurship, which is all embedded in us, we're sort of like born with it and it just wants to be nurtured, that idea that you have, at the very end, you'll be very, very fulfilled and you'll feel satisfied with your life. And like these people who die and they're regretting on their deathbed.
True. For me, I think I'll move on. Those are two important points. But for me, I'll move on into basically the nature of an entrepreneur, like the characteristic of an entrepreneur. Like, how do you know this person has the entrepreneurial spirit? So, and for me, I think that relates to so much like how we just began the company. One, and I think the first point is about being the go-getter. You see, like you see something, you see an opportunity, and you just go for it fully. Like, as Ken has said, you don't know what the second month will be.
Yeah.
You open an office and you don't know where you'll get rent for March. It's already Feb is coming.
Yeah.
March how you where you'll get the money, but
For
you are
sure.
there doing it. You see, so the fact that entrepreneurship, like for an entrepreneur, you first have to have that like the spirit of a go-getter. You see, like you don't give a fuck about what other people will say. Like of course you have to take calculated risks, but even the risks you're taking sometimes they are too much that
Even those calculated risks
you can't
at the
cover
end,
for them. Exactly,
it's still crazy
so
risk.
most likely most times for entrepreneurship you have to be someone who really can work in uncertainty, because most times for people, because for me also, I don't believe everyone is born to be an entrepreneur.
For sure.
Yeah,
That's true.
So like there are some people who want safety, as you're saying, they want just to be employed, contract by the government 20 years, analipwa
And they're fine with
250,000,
that,
and that guy
kabisa.
is fine. No.
Satisfied.
Yes, and then there are those people who are even quitting jobs like Whitney. Akona a good job, but she wants to quit to pursue her own company.
Exactly.
So like such things, like yes, my company, like let's say you're like you're employed in a bank or something. That bank is already established. The chances of that bank going down is less than the chances of your small startup going down. You see.